The following program is brought to you in part by Time Warner Cable and the Madison County School System.
Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television, here today with head coach John Clark.
And I'm here to tell you to watch Madison County School Sports Television.
This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goebel in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises. This program is sponsored by First Gear in downtown Richmond and Pro Signs in Southern Hills Plaza.
Welcome to the Coach John Clark Show. Welcome to the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. We're here with Coach John Clark, and we're here to do his Coach John Clark Show, of course. And he just told me he's going to open with a joke.
I was just going to say, Southern football, we're trucking along.
He did bring props. He brought his football helmet tonight. We thank you for that.
And my truck. Not really, but
It could be.
I'd love it to be.
I'm sure
we're working
one
that
of the
out,
many
so we're working those details
salesmen
out.
of these new offices would sell you one.
If you haven't had a chance
here.
to come down and check out the new showroom and the truck.
It
Nice
is.
Camaro sitting over there too, but I'm more of a fan
It's
of the
the
truck
wrong
myself.
color, so
It is. It's
we
the wrong
went with
color.
the truck instead
Absolutely.
of the Camaro tonight. So,
Absolutely.
well, we're just thrilled that you're here. We're thrilled that you've got a great game to talk about from last week.
Was a good game, wasn't it?
Yes.
We played very well. It's so much easier to sit here and do the show after a good game,
is.
which has been the last
It
few
is.
times we've done it. So it's been nice.
Well, you're such a positive person, though. I think even if you had a losing season, it may be a little tougher, but you're still a positive person.
We did
So-
this with the losing season 2 years ago.
Yeah.
For those diehard fans that have been hanging in there with us
that
for a
have
couple of
watched
years
it,
now. Yeah.
going back to the recording.
For those who are crazy enough just to keep turning it back on.
Yeah.
So-
Well, like you said, it is much easier. And congratulations. I mean,
Thank
this
you.
was a big win. It's going to push you into the next play. I mean,
It is, and just as a program, it's a big win. You know, we took over a program 3 years ago that had, I think, 3 wins in the previous 4 years.
Right.
And we've won, we're 2-1 in the playoffs in the last 2 years now, which is a great thing for where we are in a 3-year span. And I'm not one to sit there and get excited about a record because that's not our ultimate goal, but to be 9-1 from where we were 3 years ago at 2-8 is pretty exciting right now.
what is your ultimate goal? I know you told me, but I want you to tell
Well, I mean,
everybody else.
I think we'll feel better when we have a trophy case full of trophies and a ring on the finger. But
Right.
you know, it's a lot of things go into championship teams. You need a lot of things that go your way too. It's not always the most talented team. It's the team that plays the best.
Mm-hmm.
And any Friday night, the ball can bounce the wrong way. An official can make a call. So there's a lot of things that go into that. Try not to judge too much by a championship, but ultimately, to me, to be honest, we want to win and have a winning attitude, but we want to win and play the game the right way.
Right.
And I think our kids are playing the game the right way. we knock you down, but we're going to help you back up afterwards. We don't talk a bunch of trash on the field, but we're not scared to play somebody who does. We respect everyone, but we fear no one. And at the same time, I think we handle ourselves like gentlemen off the field for the majority of the time, and that's what it's about.
Well, and you start that day one. I mean, you coach them to be this way day one, whether it's a regular season game or
Right.
we're in regional play.
And I couldn't do the things we've done without the staff I have. I have an amazing staff. They're great football coaches, but they're good men. They're leaders of men. They're helping mold these young men into better men, not just coaching them to be better football players. But our kids know, too, it's not just about becoming a better guy or just becoming a better football player. We expect both out of you.
Right.
And it's about individual expectations. We have team goals, but we also set individual goals for our kids, too. So, I mean, every team, you have kids that we have kids in our program. We have kids who are seniors that don't play much right now, but they're still there. Why are they still there? Well, they're a part of something bigger than themselves, and they have personal goals to develop things within themselves. They're a part of a family, and that's a big part of it.
Well, let's talk more about we're going to do, I don't want to do the whole season, but you guys have had such a great season. And like you said, 3 years ago, we wouldn't have been sitting here talking like this. But tell us, going into last week, what you always have a word of the week.
Yeah, our virtue of the week.
Right. So going into last week, do you remember what that word was?
Yes, last week's was loyalty.
Right. And then this week's word is?
Duty. We talk
Okay.
about duty and being dutiful, which with Veterans Day this week, we have several players who've played for us in the last few years that are off serving now. I think it's a great thing to talk about what it means to have a duty for something.
Right.
And then also we feel that we have a duty to our players. Our players have a duty to the program and the team and to each other. And so we talk about what it means to be someone who is, a duty is to have an obligation towards something or someone, either morally or required by your job. So we talk about our moral duty to do the best we can for each other, and then also it is your job to do your duty for your team as well.
Do you come up with these words? Do your staff? Do your?
Well, I didn't invent the word duty.
No, I know,
I'm
but
kidding.
for your team.
I do it on a weekly basis.
He's a jokester tonight.
No, what I do is I've got several things. One, we're part of a Sports Leader program. Sports Leader is out of Cincinnati. Lou Judd developed Sports Leader. It is a program designed to build leadership and virtue within young men. And he's doing it all over the country with colleges, high school teams, and everything. I've taken pieces of what he does, and then I've added our own little twist to it, to our leadership and character development program is what we call it. And then the first year I mapped out our virtues based on what we had a kind of a plan for the whole year. Since then, I've directed our virtues towards where we feel we are as a team at that time, what we feel we need each week. For example, after we lost to Pulaski, the virtue the next week was resilience. Can you bounce back? What does it mean to be resilient? So I try to develop things going on with the kids in their lives, things going on within the team, and then also things that they need to hear. Sometimes we go over and do the same virtues over and over. Today, actually it was yesterday, in talking about duty, a virtue we already had this season was preparedness, preparation. What does it mean to be someone who is prepared? And preparation is a word that we use weekly now, and our kids know what it is. They can tell you what it means to have preparedness about yourself.
Right. That's the one thing I love about these coaches shows is we really get into some discussion about things that so many people don't get to hear. I mean, they hear your interviews on the radio, or they might read your article in the newspaper and your comments. But that's what's great about this TV show for so many fans of Madison Southern.
And it's something we don't talk about often outside of our program, but it's become standard. Every week when we come in Monday, the first thing, a lot of the guys, they have their notepads out and they say, what's our word today? And I put it on the board. And then I say, what does this word mean to you? What does it mean? So Monday I put up dutiful. And the question was, what does it mean? Somebody says, well, to have duty. Well, what does duty mean? And then we get into the details of it. How does this apply to you? How does this apply to Veterans Day? And we get in, we kind of break it down to how it deals with Veterans Day, how it deals to them in their life, how what we're doing is not even on the same scale as what the military does, but it's got the same dynamic of having a moral obligation to something.
Right.
and how strong that is to want to be a part of something like that. And it's great for the kids. And, it's interesting. You look at our seniors now, we've had them for 3 years. When we were sophomores, they were sophomores, and we were talking about honor and loyalty and friendship and love. And we've used so many words as sophomores, they looked at us like, and now they use other virtues to define virtues.
Right.
It's a pretty amazing thing to watch.
Crazy looks to,
it's awesome.
Okay, now they're looking forward to the word.
And it's great because we have a segment too where sometimes after practice I'll say, does anybody like to give a shout out to somebody else on the team? Maybe a coach gives a shout out to a player you've noticed doing well. Today I gave a shout out to Brendan Napier, who is on our scout team, offensive lineman that just goes 100% every day regardless of what it is. And we try to do that as often as we can. Well, a lot of our kids will use virtue words to describe it, like, hey, he is selfless. He does this every day and never complains about it. And it's pretty neat when you hear them using words that we've tried to teach them. Yeah.
Right.
And we don't, it's not the first time all of them have ever heard some of these words.
No.
But a lot of them, it really is.
Right.
They don't live in a culture in high school right now where they walk around talking about gratitude and they walk around talking about perseverance. Right. They're talking about LOL and YOLO.
Right.
It's a whole different different dynamic. It's different. So we try to use those words with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, good. Coach Clark, let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get into all the plays, the players, the defense, the offense, and we'll just start at the first play. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
This program is sponsored by Jack Burford Chevrolet, right here in Richmond. And by Clayton Homes in Richmond on Big Hill Avenue. You're watching Madison County School Sports Television, home of the greatest announcers around. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, Madison County EMA.net, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, MCS TV, and of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Welcome back to the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford, and we're going to stop talking about all the other, which to me that's some of the best stuff, is stuff that people don't know. If they were at the game, they know some of this stuff that we're going to talk about now. But I do want to say that you guys have a 9-1 season so far, all of us keeping our fingers crossed that this coming Friday is even better, and then that we move on to the following Friday. But let's talk about the 49-6 big win over Letcher County Central. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
It's kind of a weird name, though, isn't it?
It's different.
It is a little different. Let's just start at the beginning of the game. You guys started out right.
We did. Defense was on the field. We put together a few big plays defensively, had a couple sacks in there early on, had them backed against their goal line. They punted to us. We ended up in a 4th down scenario. Well, actually, the second play of the game, we checked to a pass play that was wide open, and the official was in the way of our receiver. That was a little frustrating. J.D. Dean ran what we call a corner post. We had him wide open. It was a good ball. He had to adjust his route because the official was standing there. I was a little frustrated about that, but it happens sometimes. We had a 4th down scenario. where we decided to run outside on it, and Damian scored. They called it back on a hold. We still got the first down, but we scored 2 touchdowns Friday. They got called back again.
Yeah.
But it seems to be our MO these days.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it happens. You know what? If we're holding, we're blocking. I'd rather get a holding call than a you didn't touch anybody on the field penalty. So,
because when we're all sitting there at the game, we're all wonder what he's thinking.
I can live with holding calls.
Okay.
I actually don't. I don't get mad about holding calls. If we're holding, that means we're working hard to block. It's when we're not holding and we're not scoring touchdowns that I have a problem. I'd rather us hold and score touchdowns, and they're not always going to get called back. Our receivers, they get called on a receiver. Our receivers block their tails off. I think they're very aggressive blocking downfield, so I've been really happy with the way their effort and the way they block.
Do you think it got called back because in this regional play there's more officials, correct?
Yeah, it's just going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. But we got a first down. We came back, drove down the field. Aaron Sipple scored on a nice little dive play from, I think, about 11 or 12 yards out, and it turned out to be a real good drive for us.
Yeah. And then they turned around. The Cougars turned right around, and they scored.
They did. They did something a little different than we've seen. Their splits were really wide, which means the splits, for example, the distance between me and you we're close together right now. They get wide splits to where they're far apart from each other. Our D-line struggled with that. We were running by the ball because those big gaps, we were able to get through them pretty quick, and then we'd run by the ball. So after we made an adjustment to those, we settled down and played well defensively. We really did.
Yeah. They looked quick at the beginning for all of the fans watching. We could all tell. They looked quick, and then, it seemed like it was going to go back and forth.
We didn't feel that way on the field. We all felt like if we just calm down and stop running by the football, we're going to be fine. And
were they nervous? Was your team nervous at all?
No, I just think it was a little different. We play hard upfield, and in our district, our league, everybody plays similar in the sense that it's a hard penetrating league. You can't penetrate against a wide gap team like that unless you're going to attack the ball. We were penetrating and then going, okay, where's the ball now? So it just wasn't a lot of awareness. But it got better as the game went on, and we made a few more adjustments to it at halftime. But we got to take – Coach Kling did a great job of getting that adjusted in the second quarter, and I felt a lot better about it.
Okay.
I thought we tackled well once we throttled down a little bit.
Right.
We were almost too aggressive in the first drive.
You think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were cold.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
You don't know. They were trying to stay warm. No, I'm just joking with you. You've been joking with me. I'm going to joke back.
I don't think we were cold.
All right, let's go to Harris. You cannot talk about him. He had, 2 touchdowns just in the first half?
He had 6 carries for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. It's funny to say he had 6 carries. He's only had about 27 carries in the last 3 games. He hadn't touched the ball much. He had 2 catches for 21 yards and a receiving touchdown. And his big highlight came on a 75-yard punt return, which it's still when he gets kicked to, we all just look at each other and go, did they really just kick to him? All right, sit back and watch.
Right.
I'm just still floored when people kick to him.
And maybe they don't mean to.
He is too. He's just –
Can't believe they did that.
Because he goes out there and he's like, do you think they'll kick me tonight? And I'm like, I doubt it. And then they did twice. Right. We were all pretty shocked by it. He had 2 really nice returns, one for the touchdown. But he's great in space. There's no question. He's tough to tackle.
Right.
He played well. He had a few nice blocks throughout the game too. He really did. He blocked well a couple times as well. So he played well Friday night.
It was an exciting game to watch. The one play where he literally leaped over. I don't know how many
on the goal line. Yeah. It was a play where we ran an inside power play out of our wishbone package, and the line did a great job of mowing down that play side, and he just went over the top and jumped over everybody. It was a great play. We blocked well Friday night. Things went well. We played well offensively. Quarterback played great. Aaron Sloan was, I think he was 8 for 10 passing for 100.
That's what my notes
He was
say,
8 for 10, I think, for 102 yards. Here's some interesting statistics for you. We had 3 quarterbacks, 3 different people throw passes Friday night.
Yes.
Aaron Sloan, and then Devontae Linville threw a reverse pass back to Aaron Sloan. So Aaron Sloan threw and caught. Devontae threw and caught. And then Jared Simpson came in and threw later in the game as well. We had 6 different running backs carry the ball. We had 6 different receivers catch the ball. And we had 4 different guys score touchdowns. So offensively, it's a pretty diverse deal. On defense, I think they had 30-some-odd carries for around 50 yards. That's awesome defense. And then I think we gave up 40 yards. We didn't give up more than, I think, 78 yards of offense.
Right.
with our varsity unit in there, which is pretty impressive.
Well, every week you tell us that you're going to, spread out the offense, you're going to give it to different people, and do you think they expected that?
Well, I think you can expect it, but you still have to stop it.
True.
And I think everybody's so worried about
Damian.
how do we stop Damian,
Right.
that they're willing to give you the pass game in order to stop him. And so we're going to take it. And we've taken, as a unit, I mean, this was one of the most balanced games we've ever played. We ran 20 times through 14. That's as close to 50-50 run passes we've ever been. We rushed for 185 yards, threw for 125 yards. It's a pretty balanced offense. So we're getting to the point now where we feel we can be a 50-50 football team, get the big plays from him in the run game, get the big pass plays from Aaron Sloan in the pass game, and the little runs and the little passes too. We feel real confident about that.
You want to talk about Dion? You want to talk about his touchdown still in the first half?
Yeah, Casey's playing great football right now. He's playing both ways. He's a special teams just giant, and he's really taken a big role to carry the ball more offensively. And, it's been hard to develop, or even, when you have Damon in your backfield, it makes it difficult to not give him the ball every time because he's such a dynamic player. And the more we keep trusting Casey and Aaron in our run game, for that matter, we just keep getting big plays. Casey had a huge run late in the game on an outside zone play. He had a touchdown called back. And we had a long touchdown called back on a hold, I think it was. So he just continues to play better offensively, and he's already just one of our more physical and aggressive defensive players.
Right.
He's playing really good football.
Yeah. Now, I know I asked you this at halftime at the game Friday night. They seem to do some different snaps and some different things where you guys, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but
Like jumped off sides?
yes, you guys went off
we can't do that
sides,
stuff.
and so I know I asked you that at halftime, but I wanted to re-ask you.
There's a lack of focus. I mean, there's a
Okay.
lack of mental focus. They were
Tricks. I guess tricks is the
Well,
word I'm looking
they were
for.
doing
did
some
some
things.
tricks.
They were doing some things different up front, split wise, and having to focus on that. We weren't focusing on the snap count.
Yeah.
We should be focusing on the snap count. We shouldn't even hear the snap count. We ought to be focusing on keying the guy across from us. When he moves, we move.
Right.
So that's just stuff that we've got to get better at.
Yeah. Well, and we all were sitting there going, they're doing it intentionally,
Right.
and it was working for a little while.
Yeah, it's
but then
frustrating.
it just stopped. So
And
going
we
into
knew
halftime.
We knew our kids would calm down eventually and adjust. It just, sometimes that's going to happen.
Right.
Teenage boys, it's not always going to be a perfect game, but I like the way they responded after they had some of that in that first drive on offense or defense. The way they responded was
Right.
outstanding.
Okay. Well, let's take another break, and we'll talk about halftime, and we'll talk about the second half.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County Schools Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube. This program is brought to you by Hopper's Jewelry, off the EKU Bypass in Richmond.
Natural hazards can be scary, especially for kids. We count on the adults in our lives to help keep us safe. That's why there's a website that can show you and your family how to prepare for all kinds of hazards. You can learn what to do during disasters, like tornadoes, and how to plan for emergencies, like flash floods. Remember, we're counting on you to keep us safe.
Be aware. Learn how to prepare at MadisonCountyEMA.net.
Another great sponsor for Madison County School Sports Television is Madison HVAC. Visit them at MadisonHVACR.com. By calling Madison HVAC, you always know you'll talk to the owner. Give them a call. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises.
Welcome back to the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford. Again, we're here at Jack Burford Chevrolet. They are our proud sponsor of our coaches show. So we're happy to be on this nice, shiny new floor. It's
Very
kind of
nice.
fun. And you've got your orange on. I wore my blue and orange. So we're sporting the team colors
I like it.
tonight.
I
Yeah,
like it.
absolutely.
I've got my blue tongue to match from my birthday cake that I ate earlier too. So
Perfect.
I'm ready in my
I
blue
was
and
going
orange
to tell
as well.
everybody it's your birthday tomorrow. So the problem is this will be on tomorrow. So you'll
there
get
you go.
maybe
There you go.
you'll get all kinds of wishes. If not, I'm going to post it on Facebook. How about that?
I'm not even on there, so I'm okay with it.
You used to be.
I'm not
You
now.
used to be. All right.
Too old for that now.
Oh God. I probably am too. Anyway, let's keep moving. Let's talk about halftime. What'd you say to them? You guys were in the lead at halftime.
We were excited. We were 2 quarters away from the next round. It's at this point, it's about winning the next quarter. Win the next quarter, put 4 together in a row, and play the next week is what it's about. So we talked about winning the next 2 quarters to get a chance to play the next week. We knew we'd play some young guys, and we did. We actually got a few freshmen in the game that had never had varsity experience
That was my
before.
next question.
It was pretty exciting to see them, knowing what's going through them. I was in that place once as a freshman in high school, and it's intimidating and exciting and all the emotions at the same time. So I was glad we got a chance to do that a little
Especially
bit
in
as
a
well.
playoff game.
Absolutely, and it's great. Those couple plays you get them in really do make a difference on how they develop in the offseason next year, because they
Right.
felt the speed difference for 1 or 2 plays,
Yeah.
and that becomes the new minimum speed they learn. So it does make a difference.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, and you also know, okay, this boy can handle the pressure.
Absolutely. And our goal in the second half, these were our second half goals, were no turnovers on offense and try to create a turnover on defense. That's what we really tried to do, and we did not turn the ball over. We didn't create a turnover defensively, but we played very well defensively in the second half, which
Yeah.
is what we want.
You want to give a shout out to any of the swarm?
Yeah, I mean, everybody played well. I mean, to be honest,
Yeah.
I mean,
You
to
get
put
happy.
us where we have give, I think, 78 yards of total offense to a team is pretty outstanding. I think Aaron Sipple continues to play very good football. Casey Dion is all over the field. I thought Alex Lane played a pretty good game Friday too. He's tackling well out on the perimeter. So we have some guys that are playing well. Drew Wright is a guy that played both ways the last 2 weeks, and Drew just continues to get better on both sides of the ball. We will get Derek Howard back this next week. Drew will maintain his guard spot right now because he's earned it, and he's playing very well. So I think Drew Wright really is a guy that has stepped
And the other
up.
kid, he has been sick, or was he injured?
Derek dislocated his shoulder
Okay.
against Lincoln and is now back from that. So we're excited to have him back. He's been a great player for
That's
us. He's a
good.
big part of our front.
Right. Well, and that brings us to you guys, knock on wood. I mean, you've not had a lot of injuries. So
We've done a good job of staying healthy, but that's not luck. That's off-season work.
Right.
We have prepared our kids to try to stay healthy. Flexibility is key. We try to practice smart. We do not bang every day in practice. You bang on each other, you wear each other down. As the season goes on, we back off the pads, and that allows you to play fast on Friday and stay healthy. A lot of coaches disagree with that. I know a lot of coaches that go full pads Monday through Wednesday. We do not do that. You don't have to do that, in my opinion, in the way we play, to play physical on Friday. We don't do that, and I think we play pretty physical on Friday.
Right.
So you don't need to do that. So I think it's a lot. And sure, is there luck involved? Absolutely. Anybody can get their knee rolled any time. But also a lot of it has to do with the way our kids have prepared their bodies.
Right. Well, and there's so many sicknesses out there right now too. I mean,
We
between
have
the
ours,
temperature
too, now.
changes. I mean, it's gonna be back up to 60 on Saturday.
We had 2 guys have to go home today sick and come back for practice, just today, just because they couldn't make it through the full day. They went home, got some vitamins in them, took a nap, and came to practice. One of them couldn't practice today, but he was there. And then he'll go home and be
Watching.
rested and hopefully be there tomorrow. Yeah, and that's something that 3 years ago you don't get. Now you get that because it's a different commitment. It's a duty to
Right.
each other. And that's a whole different ballgame, and
Right.
that's where we are, and that's what's awesome.
Well, let's talk about your touchdowns in the second half. So again, we got to go back to Harris.
Yeah, Damon had a really nice punt return. I mean, just unbelievable run. He split 2 defenders and
It was pretty.
Just an outstanding run. I can't believe they kicked him. But that's exciting. Hope people continue to kick the ball to him.
Don't you wonder why do they kick to him? I mean, you would think that they wouldn't, or do you think that they just didn't mean to kick to him and it just went?
That happens too. I mean, I know coaching. I've said don't kick it to him. Kick him out of bounds, then you kick it right to the guy.
Right.
So I have no idea.
Because sometimes,
That
if
does
you got a
happen.
freshman kicker, maybe they don't know where.
Well, I think some people still think he's not as good as everybody thinks he is, and then they I'm not saying they thought that, but I think some people still think
Yeah.
that, which is, I love it when people go into a game thinking that. So hopefully everybody thinks that. But and then our other touchdown was Andrew Miller.
Yeah, let's talk
super
about
excited
Miller.
to see Andrew get his first varsity touchdown.
Right.
He's been starting at tight end for us all year. Andrew is going to be a very special football player.
What year is he?
He's a sophomore.
Okay.
He stepped in to fill the big shoes of Spencer Stone, our tight end that's at Wake Forest playing right now. He left big shoes to fill. He was a very good player and a good leader and just a great young man. Andrew is stepping in and doing an outstanding job blocking and running routes, and he's a straight A student. And he's probably grown about 1.5 inches and put on 15 pounds just this season. So the weight room that he gets that weight class every day is really starting to show on that young man. He's a better player now than he was at the beginning of the year. We think he has a chance to be a really good football player. I was excited to see him get his touchdown.
Yeah,
I
we
think
were all excited
The whole
too.
team was.
I bet they were.
Because he's a kid that would never complain about not getting one.
Yeah.
But you know he had to be excited.
And he
about it.
deserved it.
Absolutely.
He was working hard to get there.
Absolutely.
And it's good. It's good. All right. Let's talk about, well, unless you want to talk about anything from this past game, or do you want to move on? I always leave it up to you, Coach.
I'm ready to move on.
All right. I think,
I'm
yeah,
ready.
I am too. So let's talk about the big game Friday night.
We're going to Harlan. This is a round 2 matchup that we had last year at their place. We learned a lot about ourselves of where we were as a program in this game, I felt, last year. We played a much bigger, more physical team. I think it set the tone for our off-season workouts this game. And so I feel really good about where we are going into this game. It doesn't matter what you do in August. It doesn't matter what you do in September. It's Friday night. It's not the best team. It's the team that's going to play the best. And I feel like we're playing the best football we've played all year right now. We're stronger than we were from the beginning of the year. We needed that entire calendar year to physically be able to play this team. They're a very physical, strong football team. I think we can handle that now. So last year we handled it for about 3.5 quarters and we ran out of gas. So we just weren't ready yet. So this is an exciting game. This might be the biggest game in this program ever, at this school. And I think it's just because everyone knows Harlan County is a perennial powerhouse. It's a very good football program. It's a very good coach and Coach Larkey. And if you can go there and beat them, you can play with anybody anywhere. And so we know we wouldn't want to have it any other way. I wouldn't want this game at home.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't want to play this game 3 weeks from now.
That surprises me.
No,
you say.
no.
Okay.
We lost there last year.
So it would make it bittersweet.
I want to know.
Yeah.
And that's just our kids want to know.
Yeah.
We've done everything we can to feel like we've put ourselves in a position to let's put all the chips on the table and just see where the cards fall.
Yeah.
And that's how we feel going into this game. That's what you'll get Friday night from us.
Right. How many games have you been watching from? I mean, do you have like 5 games you've been watching?
I've
of
watched
footage,
every one of
or
their games.
You have, okay.
We've got, just like they've probably gotten every one of ours. I don't think there's been a play unwatched on either side here.
Yeah.
And this is a great team. This is a 3-loss team that's lost to Belfry, Johnson Central, who are 2 outstanding football teams,
Exactly.
and then a team out of Tennessee that's maybe like 1 in the state. So 3 losses doesn't mean anything, and our kids know that. They're a very talented football team. They've got a young man, number 2, Cole Wilson. He's been offered by Marshall. Carson Whitehead, their tailback linebacker, is an all-state caliber player. They just lost a very talented defensive end this last week. He had a injury, I think, to his neck. So glad to hear that he's okay. I think it could have been a pretty bad deal. He was a great player. They've got a lot of really good players on the field.
Yeah.
And they're big
I mean, you
up
want to
front.
beat them. You don't want to know that anybody's injured. Or
No,
can't-
not
yeah,
at all. No,
yeah.
and we want their best effort too.
Right.
Just like I think they want ours. So, but it's a tough place to play, which is why I like that we're going there.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's go play the tough team at the tough place and see how good
get
we
the
are.
big W.
Let's see how good we really are.
Right. Now we got to get the fans there.
Yeah, I think we're taking a spirit bus to work getting the kids
You are?
down there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exciting. I was really excited that the school's going to do that. They're going to help the kids. The kids are going to pay for their seats, and they're going to help with the bus, which is awesome.
That's good.
I think we'll travel. Feel good about it. I mean, it's not like we're going to West Virginia.
No.
Although
no.
it's maybe South Carolina-ish, I guess, but no, it's only a couple hours.
Right.
So,
Right.
And don't worry, you'll leave Harlan alive. It'll be okay.
It will. It will. We just got to, we'll travel. Southern,
We traveled
we'll
really
travel.
well
So,
last year. It was
Yeah.
awesome. So I hope we do that again
Yeah.
this year. This will be a big game for the program.
Well, we're really excited for you. We want to congratulate you once again on a great win last week, I mean, it doesn't get much better until we get back again next week and another win, right?
Let's hope we continue to do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm excited for you. And I guess that's it, unless you want to shout out to anyone else.
No, just
Can we give you a shout out and a big happy birthday for
thank you.
tomorrow?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So we're shooting the show on Tuesday night, so tomorrow, which is Wednesday, is Coach Clark's birthday. So everybody gave him a big happy birthday.
I had my cake today, so I feel like my birthday was today. But
That's good.
It's okay.
Well, you might. Maybe the
Okay,
team
I'll
will get
probably
you
have some
another
cake again tomorrow. That's true.
I was
so.
going to say, if you're like the kids, they celebrate 2 or 3 4 days.
I'm learning that that's the way we do it in Kentucky. I've been
It
celebrating
is.
for a couple days,
Celebrate.
which is
it's better than the alternative,
which
right?
has been nice. Yeah, it's
That's
been
right.
nice.
All right, Coach Clark. Good luck this coming Friday.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, this is the Coach John Clark Show. I'm Samantha Burford. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Samantha Burford with Madison County School Sports Television, here today with head coach John Clark.
And I'm here to tell you to watch Madison County School Sports Television.
This program is brought to you by Hopper's Jewelry, off the EKU bypass in Richmond.
Natural hazards can be scary, especially for kids. We count on the adults in our lives to help keep us safe. That's why there's a website that can show you and your family how to prepare for all kinds of hazards. You can learn what to do during disasters, like tornadoes, and how to plan for emergencies, like flash floods. Remember, we're counting on you to keep us safe.
Be aware. Learn how to prepare at MadisonCountyEMA.net.
This program is sponsored by Jack Burford Chevrolet, right here in Richmond. And by Clayton Homes in Richmond on Big Hill Avenue. This programming is sponsored by State Farm Insurance, Jerry Goble in Richmond, Luxury Pet Service, Richmond, Premier Rehab in Gibson Bay, CSEP, MadisonCountyEMA.net, Richmond Tourism, Time Warner Cable, Madison County Schools, ScenicCabin.com, Faith Created Assembly of God Church, and Tatum Enterprises. This program is sponsored by First Gear in downtown Richmond and Pro Signs in Southern Hills Plaza.
Hello everyone, I'm Madison County School Superintendent Elmer Thomas, and I want to thank you for watching Madison County School Sports Television.
Follow Madison County School Sports Television on Twitter. Or like us on Facebook, MCS TV. And of course, watch all of our videos on YouTube.